Brian Lara used pot plants to work on his placement. John Wright glued his glove to his bat. Sachin Tendulkar dug up practice pitches. Tatenda Taibu cut the top off his bat. Claire Taylor used a hockey grip. Steve Smith was from tennis. Dean Jones would call phantom runs. And Victor Trumper turned the nets into a war zone to survive. The best batters in the world do whatever they have to make runs. We have told their stories in our new book, The Art of Batting.
Hello and welcome everyone. I have Saurabh here with me on Good Areas, and India have managed to steal this test match out of nowhere and they have leveled the series at 2-2. So Saurabh, what do you have to say about this special victory?
I think before I say anything, Max has got in early with what could be the comment of the podcast. He says, don't mind Siraj as an Aussie now. If the Aussies are saying that they want Siraj as in their team, I think that just says everything. This was a breathtaking test, breathtaking finish, proper edge of seat stuff, the kind of which we have not had for a while now. Also a very fitting end to the series. I know we spoke about the tie yesterday, but I think eventually a 2-2 scoreline does more justice to how the teams have been in this series, and this kind of finish does absolute justice to how this series has been. Like 25 days of cricket, it ends with a guy coming with one arm in a sling, holding the bat with one arm, coming out to bat, being there for about 15 minutes, managing to not face a single ball, and running through all that pain, and finally India winning it and becoming leveling the series 2-2. Nothing beats Test cricket, right? The Test cricket is
always
the highest. The best Test cricket. There's nothing that beats that. Absolutely nothing.
Completely agree with you. And this was like this will be one of those test wins that will be right up there in Indian history, simply because of where they came back from. When Harry Brook and Joe Root were batting, nobody would have expected, except maybe Siraj, right? Because he said that he didn't stop believing. And that's the thing that we keep talking about with Siraj. He is such a lion-hearted and all those expressions that we use for him, like for his for his fighting spirit and everything like that. But he is a brilliant bowler as well. And as people are saying, if you watch that last spell, we'll take DOF's comment. He says that every ball in that last spell could have been a wicket. I think I agree with that to quite an extent. I mean, not literally, but he was beating the bat so many times. And if you look back at the Jamie Smith wicket, the first two balls he had beaten his bat, and then third ball Jamie Smith walked down the pitch and then he nicked off, right? So he was just bowling brilliantly well. And I think this was the day when it all culminated in some rewards for him. He really deserved this 5-wicket haul. He could have ended up taking a 10-wicket haul in this test match. But absolutely brilliant stuff. And again, even Prasidh Krishna, getting Josh Tung out bowled with that Yorker. Initially, he was the one who started it after that post-tea session by getting the wickets of Jacob Bethel and Joe Root, the big wicket of Joe Root, right? So absolutely, you could not have asked for anything better. And we have to remember Akashdeep as well, right? Ultimately, he was the one who got Harry Brook in the first place.
That's true. Yeah. And we did say yesterday that Harry Brook might, learn from this and not leave it to the others, that finish the job and go, because this is what can happen if you don't finish the job, if you leave it for others. And Siraj has just come full circle, right? From at the not exactly beginning of the year, but less than a year ago, ending a test match with the memorable "I only believe in Jassi Bhai." He has now come to "I always believe in myself." It's a proper arc, full circle of life, and it's properly deserved. He has been the Bumrah for India when Bumrah is not there. He has just been that good. And there was a stat that CricViz put out. Amongst established test quicks since 2006, there are just 20 who consistently move the ball both ways, which is higher than 20% of balls swinging both left and right. Amongst those 20, 10 have an average speed below 135. And amongst those 10, only 2 hit a good, above 135. And amongst those 10, only 2 hit a good line and length over 40% of the time. And who are those 2? Mohammad Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah. These are the 2. Wow. So Siraj, all the heart, all the whatever we talk about him, he's a massively skillful bowler. He is a bowler of extreme skill, of extreme nous, of a great bowling intelligence, and he knows how to plan, how to execute plans, how to bowl which ball, how to read batsmen, because you can't do the kinds of things he does just on heart. You can't do it just on acha ekdam zor se khel ke bana denge and all. I mean, that's kind of spirit is good, and I'm sure it adds a little 5-10% extra to him.
You want that.
But the 90-95% is the bowling skill that he has, and it's just, yeah, like I said, that he has come a full circle, right? So now all of India only believes in both him and Jasprit Bhai.
Absolutely. And imagine if India could witness this version of Siraj when Bumrah also comes back and whatever future test matches they play. That would be absolutely magnificent for India, right? Because now you see that even if you just look at the way he is bowling, like he has probably gotten to a level now where he could be the second bowler, or would that be a bit too early? What do you think about that? Because based on how he bowls, I think it's not impossible.
He could be the second, sorry, what?
The second bowler.
Yeah, the second pacer, you mean, for India?
Yeah.
Oh, that he anyway is. No, I mean, there's no question.
I mean, he has to be. I'm just trying to say in the sense that, has he gotten to that level where you can say, yeah, Siraj is a properly good second bowler? Because for the longest time, I was like, yeah, he's very good as a third one. Has he reached that level where he's the second one?
Oh, yes. I think after this series, you have to give it to him that he's a proper second bowler, and maybe now all of this is speculation. Siraj has been asked a couple of times on this tour about the weird discrepancy in his stats when it comes to bowling with Bumrah in the side and without Bumrah. And before this test, what his stats were without Bumrah and Shami in the 11. His average was 23 and his strike rate was 41.8. Means like all-time great numbers he has when there is no Bumrah or Shami in the 11. So he was asked about this, and he said I don't know, maybe it's just the responsibility that brings out the best in me. I love responsibility, I love taking it and all that. Now that he has done this, maybe he doesn't need to feel like he is second or something when Bumrah is there. I don't know whether there's any. I still think it's just a curious coincidence and nothing more. It's just a quirk of numbers it's just happened that way. And it's not really anything deeper than that. But if at all there was a 5-10% of truth in that also should be eliminated with this sort of performance. And, Bumrah and Siraj bowling together, if Siraj is... we can't expect him to be this level in every game. But if he's at least close to this level and on a consistent basis, that will make for quite something for India. They'll have a good pace bowling attack again, which was... there, from 2018 to 21 sort of when India had Bumrah, Shami, Ishant, Umesh has Bhuvneshwar doing their things here and there. So and we have talked a lot about Siraj. What did you make of Chris Wokes coming out to bat with one arm?
Yeah, huge respect for him, right? The rumors are that this might be his last test match. And so, it does take a lot of fighting spirit and, you really need to be very courageous to be able to come out, because that India could also just target you with bouncers. You could get into the ethical argument of it, whether they should bowl bouncers or not to an injured player and all those things. But I think, to put it simply, it does take a lot of courage. And I think I really respect Chris Wokes for that. And he did come out and he did run a couple of times as well, right? On the non-strikers end, just to make sure that Atkinson was on strike. So I think massive respect for him. And if this actually ends up being his last test match for England, then I think he has been a good servant for them. Very effective bowler and very effective all-rounder, in fact, at home for them for that 10-year period, on and off a bit. But in those 10 years, he has been up there with them. Whenever you think about their bowling, it was always Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, and then it was Chris Wokes for the longest times. So,
Yeah. And it's a great memory to go out on, right? If this is indeed his last test, that he has come out with a broken shoulder to try and save the test for England, and not just come out but stayed there and displayed enough game smarts to steal that single, particularly the single of Siraj's last ball of the previous over, when they stole a bye when the ball went to Jurel. I think that showed great game awareness and alertness, and I'm sure it would have hurt Wokes, because it's not easy running with a broken bone. Not easy is putting it mildly. It would have been painful as hell. And but he showed the commitment to do that and stay out there for so long. Run Gus Atkinson's runs also with full speed. So yeah, it's a great note. I mean, obviously he would have wanted to go off on a win, but
Yeah.
if not a win, at least a drawn series and him doing this heroic act is a great note to go out on. And he has been, like, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
great servant of English cricket. So, and I was sort of torn, thinking that is anything worth risking such an injury, because now if you come out to bat, you can't expect charity bowling, because when Rishabh Pant came out with his broken foot, England tried Yorkers to him, which is fair game, like if you are going
it's
to risk
fair.
an
For me, it's
injury
fair.
and yeah, it's totally fair game. If you are going to risk that, then that is the risk. No, otherwise, what is the heroism also in it? if you're going to get charity bowling, so he was prepared to risk that, and he came. I'm sort of glad that he didn't have to face a ball and it ended like this. So this was, apart from England winning, this was probably the best ending for Chris Wokes, given that he had a fractured shoulder.
I can see that. We can take Varun's comment actually. He says
Yeah.
that Siraj bowling the last wicket at Lords and at Oval, the man loves London. Absolutely. So that epic Lords Test match of 2021, then this Oval Test match, both of these will be right up there for Siraj. And even the Lords Test match of this year, like he got out middling the ball, man. Like if India somehow win that Test match, then that could have been another one that you could have added in iconic Siraj memories, like being there at the end of a famous Test match win. But anyways, so
I mean,
as
look,
Siraj.
the arc is not complete without heroically tragic moments. No, it can't be heroically successful only. So that Lord's one comes under that, and this comes under the success. So that's fine. And you have just outed Varun. He says no one knows 2025,
Ooh.
and yeah. Who's your man of the series?
That would be interesting, right? Like, I think from England, because they have two man of the series, right? Like, they have one from India and one from England. Usually, that's how it goes. I don't know how it is for the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy, but I'm assuming it's one from each team. So, from India,
I think one person will get the Patauti medal, right? Because they said they don't want to remove the Patauti name entirely. So, one person, or is it two?
but that
I'm
was
not
for the
sure if it's
winning
one or
captain,
two.
I think. If I'm not
Oh,
wrong.
the medal goes to the winning captain. Okay.
I think it was that, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
Who would be your guy who, or you pick one from England and from India?
I
from
think
England, it's
probably from
simple.
India, it has to be Shubman Gill even now.
Shubman
Like
Gill?
he has made 750 runs. You've got to give him some credit, even with the pitches and everything. And maybe you could argue that in two matches he didn't score as many runs, and those two happened to be, two of the more relatively difficult batting surfaces. But then again, he made loads of runs in the other three Test matches, and he made them from tricky situations. We remember the 269, but India were 211 out for 5 wickets at that time, and he built that partnership with Jadeja first, and then with Washington and everyone. So I think that one Test match, and then him playing in that draw, and then also scoring 100 in the first match. I think for me it's still Shubman Gill from India.
And yeah, I think for me it would be
Has
I'm
to be
not sure.
between
I think
Root
we have
and
lost-
Ben Stokes, right?
Root and Ben Stokes. I would just give it to Ben Stokes outright.
Yeah, Ben Stokes has been their best bowler by far, right? And he's had contributions with the bat.
Yeah.
So-
So I would, and
someone mentioned Jadeja as well. Even Jadeja has been very good, no doubt.
No, so that's the thing with India. Like Jadeja has been good, Shubman Gill has been good, Siraj has been good.
KL.
I mean, not good. Good is understating. All of them have been superb. So who do you give it to? It would have been probably for me between Gill and Siraj, but like you said, I think 750 runs is tough to ignore. So even though the latest, the adrenaline high has been given by Siraj, the man of the series is Gill.
Same. That's what even I was thinking. And Jadeja, I think, although he has been brilliant with the bat, it's just that he bats in the lower order. So he's batting at number 6, number 7. So I think it's a bit of a different challenge compared to, and we did that whole piece on him being so good against the softer ball, right? So I think he has still been very good. But if he bowled a little better, like let's say he took 15 wickets in the series, then I think I would have been very inclined to go towards Jadeja. Like, even if he was a very good fifth bowler for India. But I think Washington did that for India to quite an extent. But Jadeja's bowling this series was not as impressive. Although with the bat, he was brilliant. And the same thing with, I think, England, it's between Ben Stokes and Joe Root. But I think Stokes, because he was clearly the best bowler for them and probably of the series, right? So I think, and he had contributions with the bat. So I think it's fair to say that Ben Stokes and Shubman Gill can be the player of the series from either of the two sides.
And he had that directed run out of Rishabh Pant, which could have been the match turning moment actually of that test. I mean, it was a 22-run win, right? So how important was that? And so Ben Stokes clearly for me was the guy. I have another question for you. Do you think it is possible to have a 4-spin attack now in India? Now that Siraj has bowled like this, do you think it's possible to pick only one, or drop him from the 11? Because if both here and Bumrah are available, Bumrah is playing, right? So in India, is it possible to make ragging turners and have a 4-spin attack, or would you want a three spinners to fast bowlers attack?
You know what? I think they can go with 4 spinners and Bumrah and Siraj. Like, because what I would do is I would play Washington at 6, Jadeja at 7. Then I would have Akshar Patel at 8, Kuldeep Yadav at 9, and then the 2 seamers. That's what I would go with. And with the top 5. Yeah.
So out of those top 5, one is Rishabh Pant. So who are your 4 batters then? Jaiswal, Rahul, Gill, and Sai.
I would be going in favor of Sai Sudarshan because I think he is the future and you have to back him now. And although he didn't make a lot of runs in this series, but I think clearly when he goes back to India, those wickets should suit him. He has had big scores in the Ranji Trophy as well, I think, at times. Although his first class average is not very high yet. But I think when I was looking at his domestic numbers, what stood out for me was that whenever he would get a start, he would make it count. Like, he would really make big scores. So, whenever he would get a half century. So his conversion rate was really good, I think. So if he can do that when he goes back to India, that would be really good. And I would back him at number 3.
Okay, so hold that thought. I think 4 spinners and 2 pacers. I think we can take a break right now, no?
Yeah.
Brian Lara used pot plants to work on his placement. John Wright glued his glove to his bat. Sachin Tendulkar dug up practice pitches. Tatenda Taibu cut the top off his bat. Claire Taylor used a hockey grip. Steve Smith was from tennis. Dean Jones would call phantom runs. And Victor Trumper turned the nets into a war zone to survive. The best batters in the world do whatever they have to make runs. We have told their stories in our new book, The Art of Batting.
Hello, welcome back. Do you know what has happened? Harry Brook has been given the player of the series. We were talking about Stokes and Joe Root. Yeah. I personally wouldn't have had him as my player of the series.
I also don't think, but if we mentioned Joe Root, right? So then Harry Brook also doesn't, he also wasn't far behind Joe Root, if we're thinking about it in that sense. So it's not entirely something which is unbelievable in that regard, but yeah.
Was he the best performer?
I mean, he had that one brilliant innings. He had that brilliant innings in the first innings where he made in the first Test match where he made 99. He had 150 at Edgbaston, and then again in this match he played he scored 117 odd. So 111 odd. So I think if we're really going to talk about this in that sense, maybe he could have also been a fair contender. He made the second most runs for them, and Root was up at 537. Brook was at 481. But maybe the speed at which Brooks scored, maybe that played a part in this. He scored at a strike rate of 81. And although even I would say, for me, Joe Root was probably still the better batter in this series.
And Ben Stokes was the better player for me.
That I agree fully. For me, it's Ben Stokes and Shubman Gill, as I said in the previous half.
So going back to what they'll do in India, the other question I had is, if you're picking 6 bowlers, aren't you giving the captain a bit of a headache in how to manage them? Because if you have 4 seamers and 2 spinners, it's easier. You can rotate the seamers and all, which shorter spells. Spinners don't need really short spells, right? In fact, they might sometimes prefer a longer spell. So who do you not give the ball to? Who do you not?
I mean, when you have so many options, ultimately you have high quality available to you. I think someone will end up being underbowled in that case for sure. Or another way you could look at this is, if India managed to go on and make rank turners again, Then what they could do is they could rest Bumrah, they could play Siraj, or they could rest Siraj, whoever is available and fit at that time, and they could go with the rest of the four spinners. Or a more sane opinion would be probably a more sane team would be you play another batter in place of one of the four spinners and just go with it accordingly.
Then we have one spot available, so we'll bring in Nitish Reddy because somebody has to share the new ball. So he'll be promoted to new ball bowler.
Oh yeah, even that is not a bad idea, I guess.
But I mean, anyway, that is for the
Or
future,
like
I
maybe
think.
just a specialist batter like Sarfaraz or Shreyas Iyer. Maybe even Karun Nair if they want to back him. Although I would say better to go with one of Sarfaraz or Shreyas Iyer personally.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as big advocate I have been of Karun getting his chance, I think, especially if you are playing in India, I would pick Shreyas or Sarfaraz ahead of him. I would pick Shreyas first and Sarfaraz next, and then Karun in the hierarchy between these three. But yeah, so that is anyway for India's next series. England. What about England? I think their next big thing is the Ashes, right? So do they have who are you taking to the Ashes? Stokes, I guess, is good to bowl, so he'll go. Who else will you take? Gus Atkinson, Bryden Cars, Jofra Archer.
Atkinson has to be there. Jofra Archer if he's fit. Mark Wood if he's fit. I think Wood, Atkinson. Wood,
Does
Jofra,
Josh Tongue
Atkinson.
make it?
Yeah, he should be in the squad at least, right?
Yeah,
They'll take him in the
because
squad at least.
I actually think I was quite impressed. Initially, remember we were talking about Josh Tongue, bowling, like spraying it all around and then bowling a magic ball. But the thing is, he produced the magic balls with at an impressive rate. In the sense, a magic ball is a magic ball because it comes along once in a blue moon. But he sort of produced them a lot more often. So a guy who can do that, I think there might be something to him. So I would take him to Australia.
Yeah, he should be on that trip, I think, for sure. And he's actually played against Australia before in that 2023 Ashes. And if I remember right, he got David Warner and Usman Khwaja out a couple of times. And he even got Steve Smith out. So I don't really think that it's going to come to a situation where they don't take him if it's a long... Like, in the squad, he has to be there, I think. But I'm not sure about whether he makes the playing 11. That will depend on a lot more other things. But who are there? So... Yeah, Ben Stokes, obviously, he can be their fourth seamer, for sure.
Yeah.
And if they can have three full fit seamers, and then they have to decide who their spinner is going to be, probably, right? And they have to pick between...
Yeah, I would pick Liam Dawson. I think...
same.
He showed greater whatever,
Even I would go with Liam Dawson, I think. For me, I think it was just... When I watched him bowl for his first 7 balls in that first innings, and he got the outside edge of Jaiswal's bat 3 times. I think for me right there, it was like, he just seems to be a much better bowler. And so and he also gives you some value with the bat in that lower order, although that should not be the reason for picking him as India have seen. And, maybe if India had another seamer, maybe if India, like lots of things could have been done differently in the series, even with this series draw, right? Ultimately, it came down to India having 3 seamers doing the job.
I mean, so as adrenaline rushing as that was, it also means that India are always going to, pack the batting at the expense of the bowling in test matches because apparently it works. I mean, so now as a tactic, I just think these are 2 different ways of building a team. It's just that I like one less than the other. Picking the more attacking bowler just feels like a more palatable tactic than packing it with batters and hoping the bowlers just do it for you. But
I agree with you.
But India are coming away with 2-2 now, and the great thing about this 2-2 is every team will feel that they could have won it 3-1. So I mean, both teams will feel that they could have won it 3-1, and that's the essence of a even contest, right? Like everybody had their chances, and at the end, it's all square. So it sort of works. And I mean, since India were the away team, Shubman Gill in his first test of captaincy, and not an easy one, 5 test series in England. So I would think India would be the happier team with the 2-2 draw than England.
Yeah, for sure. It has to be India, right?
Yeah. So so yeah, but the downside of that is they're going to continue picking teams like this. They're going to continue, packing the batting and bowling. And the other downside is that we don't know when we'll next see Kuldeep Yadav bowl in a test match. We promised you'll have 25 days of laments of Kuldeep Yadav, and we're bringing it to you.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
We have a super chat actually from Karthik CS.
Thank you, Karthik.
Yeah. Sure, it's Gill's first captaincy stint, but if not for his reactionary vanilla plans, this should have been 4-0 to India. Reactionary vanilla plans, I don't know, man. You guys are really hard on on these guys.
He is just doing his first captaincy, right? And you also mentioned it yourself. But did his captaincy really change things that much?
No, I mean, did he make such obvious mistakes that it should have been 4-0? I don't think so. Now, some people go back to Washington coming on to bowl in the 70th over or something, and then getting 2 wickets in that which test? The previous test or the Now the thing is, when you have 4 seamers and you have conditions where you think the seamers are going to do more, and Shubman Gill explained this actually in a press conference. He said that it was the fact that if you brought a spinner on at that time, then the ball would have to be remanaged and re-maintained for the seamers to come back. And they thought that they have put in so much effort in maintaining the ball, and the seamers have the greater probability of getting the wicket. So he continued with the seamers. And that is what happens when you have 6 bowlers sometimes. You can. So I'm just picking out the instances where you could think that, he made an obvious mistake. I don't think it was an obvious mistake holding Washington back. That's what sometimes happens with 6 bowlers. He didn't win a single toss, so you can't say he made a mistake in any toss decision because he didn't win anything. I don't know. I don't think he made, such this thing that bowling changes wise or whatever. And especially, I'm giving him margin as his first test series. Plus, you have to understand that what we are seeing sitting, watching on TV or sitting in the stands or something, there are a lot of things that go behind a decision which we may not be privy to. And which, if we know all the info, you might think that there are 2 equally viable options. Gill just chose one of them. It didn't work. Maybe the other one would have worked. But we don't know. So I think, I wouldn't be so harsh on him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, we have to remember that Baseball England are actually a very good chasing team, right? So, them chasing 370 odd in that first match, and that was Gill's first match as the captain. So, I don't think that's something very unique or something very different that we haven't seen before. They have done it against when Jasprit Bumrah was the captain in 2022 against the same Indian team, although with a different attack, a bit of a different attack. They again did it. They almost did it again in this match. And if we're going to do the captaincy argument that way, could we not give him credit for this comeback? Surely Shubman Gill was also in the ears of the bowlers for the whole time today. Yesterday, Jared did the piece that he was a bit, translucent, like a hologram. He wasn't talking to the bowlers as much. But once India were back up in the game, I think you could really see Shubman Gill was fired up. And in fact, I think I noticed that since tea yesterday. You might have also seen the same thing. Because when they came back up after tea, Siraj was very fired up. Gill was very fired up. So, I mean, I think for your first time, I think for your first time going 2-2 in a series in England is definitely a big deal. I mean, even Pat Cummins ended up going 2-2, right? Although that team also had Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad, and Anderson didn't bowl that well. But I mean, that was, I think you could say, a better, stronger team than what India had to face. But India also had a younger team. And so I think we have to give Shubman Gill some credit. Another thing is, how much of the team selections are on him? Is it something that Gautam Gambhir is still, padding the team with bowlers and all-rounders, padding the team with all-rounders and batting depth? Or is that something that Shubman Gill is also on board with? Because we saw the same thing in the previous tour as well, right?
And that tour, Shubman Gill was not the captain.
Exactly.
No one knows 2025, as I will refer to him, has an interesting comment. Fans like captains who move their hands like a dance routine. Yes, I kind of agree Not kind of, I agree entirely. You know, if you look animated, it feels like you're doing something. But I don't know how much actual value there is. Like, some people might just have their natural expression as more animated. Some people might have their natural expression as more restrained. That doesn't mean that they're not contributing as captains. Like, I mean, MS Dhoni is considered one of the greatest captains. Was he animated? He has made his reputation as being on the other end, right? Being extra cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is something which differs a bit. Like people always have differences of opinions, and I think with captaincy, I think it's always fair to have a discourse that lots of people have their own perspectives. And one thing I think you could probably criticize Gill for yesterday was, did you see how easily they were taking singles? But I mean, there is also an element of them attacking in the first place to, open up the field in that sense. Maybe that's what I was hypothesizing, because I think the thing is also they don't show you the field placements all the time, right? So for me personally, it's a bit harder to judge how they are doing the field settings, and until and unless you're actually there, or you're following very closely in that regard, that you're actively trying to find out, okay, where is the fielder? If you're just focusing on like, okay, next ball, what is happening with the bat and the ball, then I think people like me, at least, they sort of don't always follow it as well, and I will admit to that for sure. And even in the IPL, I think it was relatively easier because they had that field settings graphic, right? I think if they have that in test matches as well.
Yeah, bring it for all formats everywhere. All
bring it for all cricket, man, for sure.
Yeah, but the field set, the single staking, actually, it's almost as if they turned that session into an ODI middle overs thing, no? Like the middle session.
Exactly.
They had attacked and then they just basically were nudging it here, there, everywhere. And
that is why Varun was not watching it.
Yes. But I just want to go back to the morning. The first two balls went for fours.
Yeah.
What did you think at that time? That, okay, easy, straightforward win, chase wrapped up in like 15 minutes? Or
I wanted to ask you this, actually.
Too late, man. I got in ahead of you. I asked you.
I actually didn't have that many thoughts at that point, because I actually happened to tune in a little later. I was busy doing something, and so I couldn't tune in right at that moment, and so I went back and
1 second. India had 4 wickets to get, England had 39 runs to get, and you had something more important to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that is like blasphemous, but carry on.
So Varun says, I kid you not, sleep. I know, I joined eventually and I watched, I saw what happened. I know what happened for sure, but I just joined a little late is what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, so but what did you think when those, so you didn't watch it. Okay, so then I'll tell you what
I didn't watch it in that moment is what I'm saying. But I watched it, like I rewinded it and watched it, so.
No, so I thought they were banking on the heavy roller effect to negate some seam movement, and that is why they wanted to go for the shots. But the first ball
the second one was anyways an edge, right?
It was an edge, but he was going for his shot. That's how he got the edge.
Yeah, that he was.
So I think they wanted to go for the shots at the start because they thought the heavy roller effect will be there and it will negate the seam movement. But no heavy roller can negate Mohammad Siraj, which they had not accounted for. And that is why, from his first over itself, he was getting the ball to move like it was moving yesterday. It was like, it didn't matter whether heavy roller had come or not. He was still doing what he was doing last night.
Yeah. For sure. I think he kept beating the bat regularly. I think that was the key aspect with him. And actually, I think we had one super chat yesterday as well. We should take that and then end this show for today. What did you think about it? We missed that yesterday, actually.
We missed a super chat yesterday. Okay, yeah, let's take it now.
Yeah.
What was the chat?
Yeah, I'm also trying to find that, right? I think we just missed it yesterday and we saw it later on. Like, we saw it at that moment, but we couldn't refer to it exactly.
I think it was by Krishna SF. But Krishna SF, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Krishna.
Okay, we can't get that chat now, but it was by him. So, thanks for the super chat yesterday, Krishna.
Thanks for the super chat. I think I roughly remember what he was trying to say. It was about, India just going in with the 3 seamers, and it's something that it has been a repetitive theme over our podcast as well. We have been saying that India need to trust their bowling more, pack more bowlers. And especially now that their batters have performed well, maybe this gives them more confidence, but they've drawn the series doing things their way, so maybe they will not change anything.
There's no maybe. I think they'll definitely not change anything. But I mean, the only thing is that they might swap a seamer for a spinner in India, so at least then Kuldeep gets to play. And Kuldeep in India is a fairly handy bat actually. I mean, Akshar is a better batter, but Kuldeep is a fairly handy bat. And Akshar and Jadeja, although they're different kinds of left arm spinners, they're still left arm spinners. So maybe you don't need two of them. So I have still some hope that Kuldeep will play when India are playing tests in India.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Also, I think we can take Akshay's comment. He's talking about how England bowled Yorkers to punts with a broken foot. No question of
Yes,
ethics
that's what
here,
we
but
said.
Yeah, we also completely agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
And I agree with his last bit also. Thankfully, it didn't come to pass. I'm also glad it didn't come to pass.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I mean, India would have been totally justified, but it would have been slightly, that like watching it would have been
Icky.
slightly uncomfortable. Even though
icky,
I would have
actually.
been
Why icky? But not icky, but yeah, uncomfortable. I think is the better way to put it.
uncomfortable. Yeah. Because I mean, while I would have been fully
On board with
supportive
what-
of India doing whatever they needed to do, but yeah.
Same. Yeah.
It's been like so I think it's been just a insane test series.
Yeah.
Like it has everything.
25
Right?
days.
It had 25 days of cricket. It had Gill fighting with England. It had Ben Stokes fighting with India, and it had Gautam Gambhir not wanting to be left out fighting with the groundsman, and it had like 4 results and 1 very action-packed draw, and in 2 of those 4 results, at least in 2 of those 4 results, the losing team could have felt that they would have won, and in the first test also, Lords, India would have felt that they had we have a late super chats.
Yeah.
With Sunmeet Bhatia. Thanks, both enjoyed. Okay, thank you very much, Sunmeet. We also enjoyed bringing this to you. At least I did, and I
Another
think
one.
Shayan also did.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for sure. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you.
So I think that's us done for this test and this series. It's been a proper banger. Was great to watch and great to analyze it at the end of the day. Any closing thoughts, Shayan?
Yeah, so I think definitely really enjoyed. Like it was a very grueling series in a sense, like covering it, editing all those articles late night, working on a few pieces myself. Three pieces I've already published of mine, and
so I think it was like grueling, but the good kind of grueling. And I mean, we would take this sort of 5-test series over any other sort any day. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you guys. Been a pleasure chatting with you, Shayan. So that's it from us. Take care, and let's hope for more great test cricket.
wait, could you hear what I was saying?
No.
Yeah. Oh wait, we all.
I once made a pair in a club game, which is almost impossible to do. But I've been obsessed with batting my entire life. And so I put that into my new book, The Art of Batting. Being that I'm not very good at that skill, I decided to talk to other people who were. So I hit up as many contacts as I could just to talk about batting. Rahul Dravid, Brian Lara, A.B. de Villiers, Kumar Sangakkara, Ross Taylor, Susie Bates, Nasser Hussain, Ian Chappell, and so many, many, many more. I wanted batters to talk about how they and their friends made runs, because that is the art of batting.